Hello crafters, my name is Marie Ressler. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm going to show you a few things that I really enjoy out of the January till June mini catalog, and let's get started. So this is my catalog, and I can show it to you now because you all should have one. This one right here is called Mini Messages, and I'm going to show you how to work with this. This has got one die and one stamp, and it's on page 35, and it's bundled for $50.25 if you want the bundle. And then I'm going to show you this suite right here, and I'm going to make a card with this one, and I'm going to share that with you and how to do that. And that one is called Snailed It, and here's the whole suite. So a suite is if you want everything that's on this page. If you want the bundles, it's up here for 10% off, and if you want to buy them individually, you may. But this is the one I'm going to use. And then I want to show you this one right here because it seems to get missed. This is called Stitched with Whimsy dies. It's not bundled with anything else. It doesn't have to be bundled with this. It's not. And it's just $29, but it has these really great stitches. And I used this with the Snailed It set. So I wanted you to be aware of that. This is in the catalog, and it's a great die set. So when you spend $50, you can get a celebration item. Here's our celebration flyer. So you can have DSP paper. And this right here, it coordinates with In Bloom Bundle on page 45 of the mini catalog, not the Pretty Perennial bundle that's an error. The Darling Donkeys. So there's some fun things in here. There's a birthday set, some more ombre DSP, a couple more stamp sets. Now this only goes from January till June, or January to February, and that is all it celebration last is those 2 months. So more paper. This one here is if you spend $100, you can have this set. Okay. This one here is the same, a set, and it coordinates, and you get the DSP in this one. Okay. And then if your orders and your hostessing a party, this one here, you can get it for free with a $300 party. So let me know if you're interested in any of these items. So the very first thing I want to show you is this set right here called Mini Messages. It's one big stamp and one big die. I suggest that you use this with a stamping device of some sort. It's a big stamp, like I said, and this is our Stamparatus. If you're interested in this, let me know. And it's got different plates that you can put on here, but I just put the stamp on here. And I have my paper in here, and I've already actually stamped this once, but I wanted to show you how I line this up. So all you're going to do is ink this up, and if you put a little stamp set underneath of it, it makes it a lot easier to do. So you're just going to ink it up like this, and I've already done it a few times, and the reason I suggest you use the Stamparatus is because it's such a big stamp, you're going to have to stamp it a few times to get all your images. Oh, and then I have a friend that used one of our old blocks, and she used a piece of chamois that she got at the dollar store, and she covered it up. And this is a really cool way to do something. So it saves my hands. So if I just press on here with this little block and this little chamois, and that little friend that made this for me, I am so grateful to her. Thank you so much. And then so you have your die already stamped out, and you're going to remove it. And I'm just going to shut this and put it aside because I want to show you how to line this up. So you see these stars right here and a heart? When I do my dies, and you have this long one, so when I do this, and you have to run this through the cut and emboss machine, the bigger one, but I line up those stars. If you line up the stars and the heart when you run it through the machine, it will line up all the squares for your sayings. So use these little devices right here to line it up. And I'm not going to cut it all out because I already have done that. And what I do is I put them in the little baggies along with some paper that's already cut. And I used one of these sayings out of here on the snail card. And that's why I wanted to show you this. And then here is the stitched ones. I want to show you this because I used this too on the snail card. These are really nice. I mean, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get 6 different stitch dies. Now these do not cut out your paper. They just stitch it. Okay. So this is a snail set, the Snailed It. You get the stamp set, and you get the dies. I'm going to put that aside. You're going to get the twine. You're going to get some embellishments, hearts. They're white and the red ones. And you're going to get a package of DSP paper with the snails on it, mushrooms. It's really neat paper. And I'm going to use this paper. You get 2 sheets of each. That's the front side. Here's the back side. And you're going to notice that some of the dies will cut out some of the images that are on here. So like this one will cut out all of these. And then on this side, you have some of the dies will cut out these other pieces. This is a mushroom one. So this little guy right here, I think, is this one. Cuts out this one. And then this one is, how much is this one? Cuts out this one right here. I love that the dies cut out the paper as well. So let's set these aside and let's get started on the card. What you're going to need is the 3 stamp sets. I used a lot of them, but I already done the pre-cut of the work, so you don't have to sit there and watch me do it today. So let's get this out of here. You're going to need a piece of 12 by 12 paper, and you're going to have to cut it at 12 by 5.5, and you're going to score it at 4 1/4, 5 1/8, 6, 6 7/8, and 7 3/4. So let's get started on that one. All right, and then you're going to need 2 DSP papers at 3 1/4 by 5.5, and 2 white ones the same size as these. You're going to need a piece of DSP paper that's 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. And you're going to need 2 DSP papers that 4 1/4 by 5.5. And you're going to need another one, cardstock color. That this is Bermuda Bay, by the way. It's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And this is what I was talking about with the stitch dies too. So the very first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use a corner round punch. And I'm just going to corner around these. And when you use a corner punch, there's these little guards right here that you want to line up your paper into. Make sure it doesn't slide around. It should fit tight. Okay, throw that away. So that paper is ready. So let's do some scoring. I'm going to move those aside. The paper scoring tool. I'm going to open that up. And like I said, we're going to score this at 4 1/4. Let's see. You see this a little bit. There's your 4 1/4 mark. Right there. Make sure you are not cutting it. Using the lighter one, that's the scoring blade. And then you're going to do 5 1/8. So here's 5, and then the first 2 dots is an 1/8. So 5 1/8. And then you're going to do 6, which is right here. It's right on the end of your paper trimmer. And then you're going to do 6 7/8, which is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7/8 is the 2 dots before the 7. 6 and 7/8 is right here. 2 dots before the 7. And then 7 3/4 is the 3/4 mark on there. So you have your half mark and then you have your 3/4 mark. And those are your score lines for this. And that's all you have to score. Put that away. This is pretty simple. You're just going to do some folding. And you're going to use a bone scoring tool. You want those to be really good creases. And you're just going to valley mountain folds back and forth. And then do these like that. Like that. And just kind of make sure that it really is pretty even. And just give it a good crease. Okay. Now I decide which is my front by how the card will lay. If it lays to where it's got like a part showing down here, then I just flip it over and it lays flatter that way. So that's how you're going to do your scores. I'm going to show you the card really quick and then I'm going to make it for you. So this is the card. Oh, you know what? One more thing you got to do with this paper. It's a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, but you're going to cut this down to 12 by 5.5, so it's not on the 6 mark. That way it will fit into a regular size envelope. So here's the front of it. This is the piece that I did earlier. And all I did was stamp the little hearts and the hello randomly all over the card. All right. That's what I did with that. Then I used this piece here, and I did the corner round again on this one. Same technique, just push it into there and make sure that it's in there tight so it doesn't slide around. And then that piece is just going to go layered on top of here like this. So that's going to be the front. All right. And then I used this little guy right here off of the DSP paper, and I cut it. I just trimmed it around it and just cut it up. Fussy cut this one because this one doesn't have a die. So fussy cut that little guy out. Kind of give him a good little shape. And then I just glued it onto here. Oh, actually this one goes the other way. So it's a little bit different than this one. So you can actually put it over here if you want to on this side. They would be kind of cute if they were together, right? With a heart in the center. You could do that too. All right, so here's this little guy's going to go on here. And then you're going to need scrap paper. I'm going to put this aside. You're going to need a piece of red scrap paper. You're going to need a piece of yellow, which I think this is Daffodil Delight. This is real red, and this is Bermuda Bay. You're going to need little scrap pieces. You're also going to need a scrap piece of white. On this one, I stamped hearts. And I'm going to use the mini cut and emboss machine. This is our new machine. It opens up like this. And then you're going to use your platform pieces. And when you use the mini cut and emboss machine, I'm going to use these right here. They have numbers on them, so it's 1 and 2. This is your platform piece. But when you layer these, you want to make sure that they're not lined up. They're kind of beveled on the ends, so you can slide them back a little bit. That'll allow it to go through the machine quicker and easier if you don't have them all lined up on the end. So don't line them up on the end. Just stagger them just a little bit when you're putting your images in there. So I'm going to do the 2 hearts on here. You know what? Actually, I'm going to go this way because I'm a right-hander. So I'm going to go this way. You're going to use this platform here, which is 1. I'm going to bevel off this number 2 a little bit. I'm going to put my hearts on there. And what's really cool about the snail set is there is actually 2 hearts in there. So you can run them at the same time. So I'm just going to lay them on there. You can actually washi tape them and hold them together if you feel like you need to. Alright, and then I'm just going to put this on here, and I'm going to bevel it back a little bit, and I'm just going to hold, well, there you go, don't move it. You can washi tape it, like I said, if you want to hold them in place. And just hold it down and then put it in and crank it. Oh, wrong way. Run it through. Hold your hand up here. Oh, we're sliding because I'm on paper. All right, I'm going to pull that out and put that aside. And I'm going to take my hearts out of there, so I have my dies and my hearts. And we're done with that part. Put that to the side so I don't lose those. So here's my hearts. I'm going to use those, and those are going to go on the front of your card. I just layered them right here on the front of the card. And I just snailed it on the on that one piece before I layered it all together. And that's all I did to the front. Okay. Now on the inside, what I did is it looks like this. Do you see these little pieces that you did? You angled. This is your little pop-up. So this piece here, I just laid it on this one and just glue it down. Here's the other one, and I just glued it down. And then this was from the mini messages that I just showed you how to die cut, that big one. This is how I layered it on here. This is so easy to do. And then these pieces right here get glued to here. So you're going to glue them on here like this. And you're going to glue this one on here like this. Okay? Let's move this aside. Pull this one back in. They are going to get glued right to your flaps. So this is the front of your card. So this one's the back. This is the front. So on the front of your card, you're going to glue them to these little flaps right here. Like this. It just makes it a little more sturdier. And then this one is going to get glued to this one right here. Like that. Do you see? It's really just like a little accordion. I'll show you on the sides. Looks like a little M in the middle or a W, depending on which way you're looking at it. Okay, so I don't want to spend time gluing and taping and cutting because I know you know how to do that if you're watching this video. But what I did do is a couple other little things. I used the snails and I die cut them and the mushrooms. They too are, I used 3 mushrooms, 2 snails, and then I used the little mushroom dies, and I'm going to show you these, and I'm going to show you how I put this together. This little die. I pulled in a retired punch. This is a 1-inch punch, and I just punched my scrap paper just like 3/4 of the circle, because that's all you really need is 3/4 of the circle. So I punched that. And I just lay this on here like this to see how it will fit. Because it will fit, most of it will fit on this little piece right here. And then I just trimmed off right here. So I just took my scissors and I just trimmed it. Cut it out of the way. I don't need that piece. You can actually even just go under it and then just cut it off. You really don't need that. So that's just scrap. And then I glued this piece to this piece. And I'm only going to glue this top part right up here, not this mushroom stem. And then I'm going to take this red piece and I'm going to glue it right on top of here and cover up most of those holes. There's a little bit there you can see on the one piece. I'm going to pull in my Pick-a tool and my silicone mat because it helps when it's sticky on the back side. It won't stick to anything. And then all I'm going to do is put glue on this little dabby part right here. And these pieces right here, the circle parts. Doesn't take much, just a little bit. And then I'm going to pull these back in. And I'm going to pick up these pieces that go in there. and I'm going to put them in where they go. And this is just like paper piecing. And you can use this other little end if you want to move it around a little bit, get it in there right. Oh, actually I think that one goes in the other piece. It goes in here. Oh. Silicone mat is great because it doesn't, nothing will stick to it. It goes in this one. So there. And then you're going to use these little pieces right here. Goes in here. This one goes in here. And it's how I paper paste my mushrooms together. This one goes in here. And then again, like I said, you can use the pokey part if you want to move it around a little bit to get it to glue in there right. Alright, so this bottom one though, because it's, if you put glue in there, you'll get it all over the mushroom. So what I did was I just held on to it and put glue on it myself. Just held on. Just try to do a little bit. A little bit of glue on there. And then I just slid it in there. And that is how I did my mushrooms. Alright. So, whoops, there's another one. So let's see how easy this is to assemble. Alright, so you have all your pieces. Alright, take that piece off. Slide them all over. Make this way. Simple card after you get all the pieces and the work done. And I colored my snails and the mushrooms. Let's see if I can show you what I did here. These pieces right here. I colored them with the Stampin' Blends. I used Flirty Flamingo on the mushroom, along with Daffodil Delight for the yellow. I used Bermuda Bay for the blue. Oh, the one that I really think is really nice I used was this one right here, which is the ivory one. That is what I used to color the snail with. I also brought in the dark macaron to do the inside of this snail right here. And I used Granny Apple Green on the stems here. And let's see. And then, I used Poppy Parade for the red. For the rest of the mushroom pieces. So again, you're just going to glue these two together. Like this. And then make sure you notice how the direction of your paper is going. This one doesn't really much matter, but if you want your waves to go one way or if you want them to go the other way, and I kind of like it to go this way. So again, I'm just put a little bit of glue on here. I'm going to put it on, fold it down like this, and I'm going to put it right here on this one. And then I'm going to fold this one down, and I'm going to repeat that process on this one. Again, look and see which way these are going and make sure these are going the same direction. The liquid glue allows you to wiggle a little bit. Again, liquid glue on it. There's a lot of little pieces to this, but it is such a cute set. And again, up here on this one. This is your front. And that's kind of cute too, isn't it? Hardest part is deciding what side of the DSP you want to use to create your project. I don't really even know what to call this card. I actually received a card from somebody that had purchased one, and I just liked how this little fold went. So I just decided to create my own. Alright, so then again, your mushrooms. Now this is the thing when you're doing these, you do not want to put glue up here. You only want to do here on the bottom. And I raise them up a little bit. I don't push them all the way down. I kind of give them a little bit of height. So I just put a little bit of glue right here. And don't go beyond the card. So make sure you're going like up to it, but not beyond it. So when you, because you want it to fit in an envelope. So make sure you're doing that. And then put a little bit on this side. And the same thing, pull it in a little bit so that it's not hanging out. And then move it up a little if you can. They don't have to be the same depth. You just want to be able that when you fold this one and it sits up, you want to be able to see it. And then this one here, I put a couple dimensionals on the bottom because it's popped. It's popped up off of the thing, so off of the card. Put that one. Well, maybe I can use one more right here. We'll see. I might have to take that one back off. I don't know. All right. Pull the paper off of that. And again, pop your little snail. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. You see that? I'm going to remove that one. Make sure you don't have it, or put a half of one down there instead of a whole one. You don't want it to be above that line. Okay, but I can stick it on the back of this little guy. And put another one on him. And remove the paper. And this one is going to go here. And then I just glue these down wherever I want them to go. And I put these here on the bottom. Again, don't do it all the way up. You don't want to have your glue sticking your card together. And then I just pulled a couple of these little guys in. And I just put them like this at an angle. And now here is, you only want to glue just this part. Like that. Okay, so there's the inside of your card. Look how quick that was to do. Once you get all the cutting and die cutting done, it's really not hard to assemble. And then here's the front. Again, I'm not going to do the front because I want to, I guess I could just stamp it for you, but you know how to stamp. So I'm just going to show you, pull this one back in. And I just stamped it, and then we assembled this one, and I just glued this one down. Oops. I do like liquid glue. It's nice. And then I put little dimensionals on these, the tiny ones, these little guys. They're little. They fit perfectly in the inside of these hearts. And you can just put them where you want them to be. Oh, let's go this way. Let's go this way. And then I'm going to do this snake. Oh, you're going to need a Bermuda Bay pad too. I use that to do this stamping right here. And you're going to need a memento pad to do the Snailed It. You Snailed It. And that'll fit right in there too. But don't you just love how those stitchings turn out on that? Alright. And then I'm going to put the other little heart down here in the bottom. And I have one more. I can put 3 if you like. I have one more heart I punched out. This one has 2. This one has 3. And it's going to go in here, the bottom of this. So you can actually do it like this too. You can actually stick this one down and stamp all the way around it. That makes sense too. So we'll just do that. And if you don't want to stamp it, you don't have to. You can actually put that on the card as it is, but I like to stamp this saying a little bit, so we can do that really fast. I was trying to make this a quick video. I know that I like to watch a video that's not really drawn out. just quickly done. Everybody kind of wants to stamp in a hurry. We don't kind of have lots of time sometimes to stamp. But this card is fun. Oh, I guess you could have put that down there and had no problem with it. There you go. Shut that pad real quick. Pull back my card. Now I have 2 cards finished. And I have a mess on my desk, which is the best part of stamping, right? Because you know you created something that's finished. Okay, so this is a trick. Make sure you're opening up the right direction. And just lay this one on here like this. And you can actually open it up if you want to. Lay it flat. It will work too. And you might, I noticed, have to trim a little bit your DSP paper if it shows through. Just take your scissors and cut right along the line to get rid of that extra paper that's sticking out. And that's okay. So I hope you enjoyed this video and how to make this quick little pop-up card. And on the back too, you might have to cut it. It's just the DSP just hangs over a little bit. Not always. Not always. Okay, so measurements again. Your white sheet of paper, this big white sheet of paper right here, is 12 by 5.5. You're going to score at 4 1/4, 5 1/8, 6 7/8, and 7 3/4 to get this. All right. You're going to need your 2 5/8 by 2 5/8 piece to do this piece right here. You're going to need your 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 to do these 2 right here. And you're going to need 2 DSP, 2 white to do these strips right here that we did. 3 3/4 by 3/4 of a quarter by 5 1/2 to do your card. All right. And then you just put your saying in there and you send it off. Well, thanks for watching. If you need any help or have a demonstrator, please look into ordering from her. And if not, I'm happy to help you.